Jai Hind everyone. This is Sarvachan Verma. Welcome to the video lecture series for object-oriented programming. And today I am going to discuss three concepts. First one is encapsulation, data hiding, and polymorphism. So, if we're talking about encapsulation in object-oriented programming, so basically encapsulation refer to the buildings of data along with the methods that operates on that data into a single unit. It means encapsulation is a process when you are combined the different units into a single units. You can see inside this picture, I am declaring one class. Inside the class I have declared data members and methods, which is called data members is a different unit as well as methods are different units. Okay, you will see here these two are the different units, and different units we encapsulated into a single unit which is called the class. This is the terminology. It is a very important OOPS concept, encapsulation. Like package is another example of encapsulation. You will see here inside this pictorial representation there is a class. Inside the class there is a variables and method, and combined into a single unit. This terminology is treated as a encapsulation. Now, if we're talking about what is the difference between the encapsulation and abstraction, both terms are too related each other, but what is the difference? So basically abstraction is a general concept formed by extracting common features from specific examples or the act of withdrawing or removing something necessary. But if we're talking about encapsulation, encapsulation is the mechanism that binds together codes and the data it manipulates and keep both safe from outside interference and misuse. Second thing, you can use abstraction using interface or abstract class. Inside Java, we can achieve the abstraction with the help of interface and abstract class, but encapsulation we can achieve or we can implement by the access modifier like public, private, protected and default. These modifiers show the visibility of our data members and as well as methods. Okay. Third one is abstraction solve the problem in design level, but encapsulation solve the problem at the implementation level. Finally, we can say abstraction means hiding implementation from outside world, or for simplicity, abstraction means hiding data using getters and setter methods in programming language. So these are the difference between the encapsulation and abstraction. Encapsulation we can at the implementation phase, and abstraction we can solve the problem at the level of the designing phase. Again, this is the example. This is the one class. Inside the class, these are the three modifiers, access specifier and modifier. This is the private data, then protected, then public. You will see here the private data not accessible outside the class. If we're talking about protected, accessible to the drive class only, and public accessible to outside world, we can access from remotely, we can access by any, they can access outside the class, we can access easily. So these are the basically three types of modifier used in encapsulation. First one is private, then protected and then public. Now come to the most important topic, what if we talking about information hiding. What is the meaning of information hiding? You will see here, a programmer using a method that you have defined does not need to know the detail of the code in the body of the method. Suppose, let us take one example. I am a bank customer and I am going on an ATM machine and want to withdraw some amount from the ATM machine. But when I withdrawing the amount, immediately my balance will be detected. But what code and what procedure that method will be follow, this is the concept comes under the category of information hiding. It means you only show the essential information to the outside world, but how that work will done, we will hide from the outside world or end user. This is the example of information hiding. This simplifies the work of the programmer using your methods. And third and most important thing is that designing a method so that it can be used without any need to understand the detail of the code is called information hiding. Now, if we compare three things like data encapsulation, data hiding, what is the difference? So basically, data encapsulation hides the private data methods and class data parts, whereas data hiding only hides class data components. Both data hiding and data encapsulations are essential concept of the object oriented programming. And last one is encapsulation wrap up the complex data to the present a simpler view to the user, whereas data hiding restrict the data use to ensure the data security. So basically encapsulation focus on the wrapping up data into a single unit, whereas data hiding refer how to enhance the security of our product, of our application and software. Example you will clearly understand. Suppose we can understand data hiding with an example like this. Suppose we declare an account class with a data member balance, okay, inside it. Here the account balance is sensitive information. We may allow someone to check the amount balance but would not allow altering the balance attributes. So by declaring the balance attribute private, we can restrict the access to balance from an outside applications. Okay, so this is the meaning key. What is the how we can perform the data hiding, because balance attribute play very vital role while we are doing the bank based applications. So inside balance is a security, the balance attribute require the security, so that why balance must be hide. No one can altering that attributes, but we can provide only valuable developer or valuable person can altering the data. Okay, this is again the security. Balance detection is always done by the method. No one person can detect the balance attribute, or no person, no individual person can increase or decrease the value of balance. This type of balance attribute done by the only method when the transaction is made or not. Inside this you will see here we have one num variable. This is the C++ code. I have declaring one class base. Inside the base class I have declared one variable num, which is called the default member, and we have declared two methods, get data and show data. In these two methods are as a public method. Second thing, these methods inside the class are declared, so we can define outside the class. So outside the class I have give the implementation of get data method and show data method. So enter any integer value, then immediately I input the data, and then finally I am showing the data. So you will see here num variable only and only restricted when these two methods got execution. Otherwise you cannot access this num variable directly. No one is allowed to access this num variable directly. So again, this is the data hiding. You can see the clear clarity about the data hiding, data encapsulation. Encapsulation means we can define the different methods and data into a single units, but inside the data hiding, the useful data and useful methods no one can execute, or no one can execute directly or use directly. Now again, this is very most important concept inside the object oriented programming, polymorphism. So basically the polymorphism words is combinations of two words. First one is poly and second one is forms, which means many forms. Poly means many and forms means form. So it is a Greek word. In object oriented programming we use three main concepts. First one is inheritance, second one is encapsulation, and last one is polymorphism. But you will see here there are two types of polymorphism in C++. First one is compilation time polymorphism and second one is runtime polymorphism. Or second thing is that compiler time polymorphism we can achieve with the help of function overloading and operator overloading. Similarly, runtime polymorphism we can achieve with the help of virtual function. So again, this is the two types of polymorphism. So basically compiler time polymorphism are called the early binding, or we can say this is called the static binding, and runtime polymorphism is called the late binding, or we can say this is called the dynamic binding. तो C++ में हम लोग टू टाइप से ही पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म को अचीव करते हैं. Now if we talking about compiler time polymorphism, so basically the overloaded functions are invoked by matching the types and number of arguments. So make sure in compiler time polymorphism we have method name is same, but inside the method name number of arguments and type of arguments are different. We can say then these all methods are treated as a overloaded method. Second thing, this functions is available at the compiler time, and therefore compiler select the appropriate function at the compiler time. It is achieved by function overloading and operator overloading, which is also known as static binding or early binding. Now let's consider the case where function name and prototype is same. This is called the method overloading. So in the case of method overloading, method signature are different. It means method name is same, but number of arguments and type of arguments are different. But if we talking about previous programming language which don't support the object oriented programming like C, inside C if you want to go on number of arguments and types of arguments on different, then compulsory you have to go with the different method. With the help of polymorphism we can create the method with same name but number of arguments and types of arguments different. Inside this code you will see here I have declared one class figure, or inside the class figure I am going to declare three three methods, like first one is area, then second one is again area, and third one is again area. But inside the area we have two arguments. Inside this method we have one arguments or float type inside this method, and we have three arguments inside this third method. But you will see here method name area is same for all three methods, but number of arguments, inside the first we have two arguments, inside the second we have only one arguments, or inside the third we have only two arguments. So we can say these three methods are called as a overloaded method. These two methods are called as a overloaded methods, because method name is same and type of arguments and number of arguments are different. Second thing, the resolution of calling resolution done at the compiler time. Compiler time means what method will got the chance done at the compilation time. Means you will see here, when I am calling this method, immediately this method got the chance. When I calling these two are the integer value, immediately this method got the chance. I will get the area of rectangle, area of circle and area of triangle by the three, but method is same, method name is same, number of arguments and type of arguments are different. It may be possible. So this is the first concept which show the method overloading, or this is the compilation time polymorphism, or we can say this is called the early binding, or we can say this is called the static binding. Now if we are talking about runtime polymorphism, so basically runtime polymorphism is achieved when the object method is invoked at the runtime instead of the compiler time, or it is achieved with the help of method overriding. It means runtime polymorphism achieved at the time of method overriding, or compilation time polymorphism achieved with the help of method overloading. Okay, so which is also known as the dynamic binding, or we can say late binding. This is concept is called the runtime polymorphism. Inside this picture you will see here, inside this code you will see I am declare one class animal and second I am declare class dog. So this concept you will see here, this is the class animal. Inside the animal class I am going to declare one method eat, but this animal class inherit by the dog class. So again I am discussed some basic concept about the inheritance. So basically inheritance is a process by which one class acquire the property of another class. You will see here the entire property of animal class, after this line inherit inside the dog class. It means dog class having two methods, or we can say two properties. First property of the animal class and second property dog on class. Okay, you will see here inside this these two are declared. Now make sure at the time of method overriding the method resolution happen at the runtime. Okay, on which this is the dog class. Okay, so runtime object is the dog class. It means what is the dog class? This is dog class. This method goes to the chance. Okay, if I am taking the runtime objects of animal class, then this method got the chance. So basically I have discussed in method overriding, method signature or method name and number of arguments will be same. If child not satisfied by the parent implementation, then child re-implement the parent class method, then these two methods are called the overridden methods, or it is a very useful in the term of application development. If child is not satisfied by the parent implementation, then child recreate on implementation. मतलब ये है कि यदि पेरेंट क्लास में जो मेथड है, यहां पर पेरेंट क्लास है एनिमल क्लास, यदि पेरेंट क्लास में जो मेथड है उस वाली मेथड की इंप्लीमेंटेशन से यदि हमारा जो चाइल्ड है, यहां पर जो चाइल्ड है वो डॉग क्लास है, उससे सेटिस्फाइड नहीं है, तो चाइल्ड अपना री इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कर सकता है। उसी कॉन्सेप्ट को हम लोग बोलते हैं मेथड ओवरराइडिंग। और मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट बात यह है कि मेथड ओवरराइडिंग किसके थ्रू होती है? सी प्लस प्लस में वर्चुअल क्लास के थ्रू होती है, वर्चुअल फंक्शन के थ्रू होती है, और दूसरा इनहेरिटेंस के थ्रू होती है। तो दिस इज द एग्जांपल। थर्ड पॉइंट ये है कि यहां पर जो क्लास एनिमल है वो पेरेंट है और डॉग क्लास हमारी चाइल्ड क्लास है। तो कॉमन सा डिफरेंस यही है मेथड ओवरलोडिंग में और मेथड ओवरराइडिंग में, कि मेथड ओवरलोडिंग में मेथड का सिग्नेचर डिफरेंट होता है और मेथड ओवरराइडिंग में सिग्नेचर डिफरेंट नहीं होता है, सेम होता है। फर्स्ट थिंग। सेकंड थिंग इज दैट कि जो मेथड ओवरलोडिंग है वो हमारी कंपाइलेशन टाइम पे होती है और उसको हम रन टाइम, उसको हम अर्ली बाइंडिंग भी बोलते हैं। इट मीन्स व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ मेथड रिजोल्यूशन? विच मेथड गॉट द चांस, which method will be executed while we are calling that particular method. बट हम बात करें मेथड ओवरराइडिंग की, तो मेथड ओवरराइडिंग में जो मेथड का रिजोल्यूशन होता है वो रन टाइम पे होता है। तो दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द मेथड ओवरलोडिंग एंड मेथड ओवरराइडिंग। होपफुली यू गॉट द क्लियर क्लैरिटी अबाउट दिस। थैंक यू सो मच।